Hello, new students. In this week's short video, I'm introducing you to some of Mount Wachusett's math faculty. We have two of them here with us, and I will ask them to introduce themselves. So I'll call on you so we don't talk over each other too much on Zoom. So let me start with Jeff. Can you tell us a little bit about what you teach, how you would like your students to address you, that kind of info for us?
Yes, I'm Professor Thompson. I actually prefer professor just to set the setting. It's like a tone setting. Outside of class, I'm a lot more casual, but in class, I prefer professor. It just sets a setting. I teach math and physics, I teach a little bit across the entire math curriculum. Lots of stats courses and some differential equations coming in there.
Awesome. And how long have you been at the Mount?
I've been at the Mount, I guess this is the beginning of my third year at the Mount. Yes, beginning of third year. Yes. I can do math, but counting's a different thing, right?
Awesome. Thank you. And how about you, Stephanie?
Hi, I'm Professor Stephanie Pollard, and I also do prefer professor when in class. I have been here at the Mount only about a year now, and I also teach a variety of subjects, I should say subjects, all mathematics, but different types of mathematics. So I teach the fundamentals course. I have taught stats this semester as well in our topics in mathematics course. And then in the fall, I'm also teaching our functions course as well.
Excellent, great. And so my first question for you both would be, can you share about an assignment that you really like in your classes? So maybe either your favorite assignment to give or the assignment that students seem to like the most, just to give students an idea of what goes on in a college math class.
Stephanie, if you want to go first, because your cookie assignment rocks.
Oh, I wasn't even going to say that one, but sure.
Oh, you were going to say the cookie. Oh, okay. Well, I'm curious now what your favorite is then.
So, I'll talk about both then. So my favorite assignment I was going to talk about would be one of the discussions I do in the statistics course, where I have the students find a quote bad or misleading graph from online, and we discuss why it is misleading. So there's actually quite a lot of media out there that is poorly created, either on purpose or not on purpose, and just graphs that are hard to read or are not done in proportion and are very misleading, or steer students in a direction that doesn't make sense. So they don't actually really reflect the data well. So that's one of my favorite assignments, is to actually talk about graphs that we see in the real world and out in the media. The assignment that Professor Thompson is referring to is my cookie project. And I have students actually go out and count chocolate chips in cookies as a data set, which seems a little strange, but it's to get students to think about how they collect data and how they're going to count the chips and what would be the best method for that. And then we analyze our cookie data. So we look at the mean and the median and the mode, and we draw some graphs there, and we think about what unusual values would be for the data set and if there are any outliers, and get to analyze our own data set with cookies.
And eat your data set. You get to eat the data set when you're done.
If you want to. I do not require that as part of the project. I have had many students tell me that they have gotten sick after the project because they have tried to eat the whole box of cookies in one go. So don't do that. Save them over time.
I love it. Thank you.
Welcome.
It's funny because my favorite assignment is in stats also. And I use Excel, and most students have not used it before to the level of programming it, making it do your math for you. And I find that the math concepts can be really hard. The stuff we do is hard, and it's okay for it to be hard. But when we use our tools and we focus on what it means and we put it all together, that hard comes across. And I have an Excel assignment that does linear regression, which mathematically on paper is a nightmare. I hate doing it on paper. It's a lot to do. But you plug it into Excel and the answer kind of pops out. And so students love that, is that they can do this hard thing, they can look at it and they can interpret it. And I do it with Olympic athletes in the decathlon. And so it's a nice thing to kind of review, and students seem to enjoy it. So I like where you can take these complex things that we are learning and let our tools pop things out for us, for lack of a better word.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you. My next question for both of you would be, do you have any advice for students taking their first college level math course, knowing that some of these students are coming straight from high school and some of these students haven't taken a math course in 10 or more years? So advice to help them get through that first one.
Jeff, you want to go first this time?
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. First off, I tell my students, this is kind of, I say it in the beginning of class, what we're doing is hard. It's okay that it's hard, and if it's okay that it feels hard. If you're in a place where you don't know what you're doing, you're in the place where you can learn. And so a lot of times that students aren't used to that feeling. And so just acknowledge that feeling. And once you're there, ask questions. Some things you will get and they'll go quickly. Other things you don't get right away, and that can be intimidating, that you're not seeing it, you're not comprehending it. And that's when you need to ask questions. And to help work with that, if you do a little bit each day, or a little bit every other day, it helps make that manageable. So that's the best advice I have, is it's okay that this stuff is hard. Human beings can do hard things, and my students are quite capable of hard things. You're capable of hard things. You just have to recognize that feeling when it comes up and don't run away from it.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you.
And I agree too. I think the hardest thing for students to transition with their first math class is really just keeping up with the expectations of the course. So most of our courses run in 15 weeks. Some of our cycle courses obviously run much faster. So students who may be coming from high school may be used to a much slower pace, where they would spend a week on one topic, whereas we're spending an hour on one topic. So it is important for students to stay up on the material, to follow along in class, to do their work a little at a time. That's definitely the best way to do it. And like Professor Thompson said, ask questions if you have it. So in the classroom, it's a little bit easier. Obviously, you can raise your hand and ask questions. If you don't want to speak out, we're always available via email and online too. So sometimes with online students, it's hard because we're not always there live. So reach out via email, and that's a great way to start that conversation if you need more help.
Great. Excellent. And is there anything you think students might be able to do now or over the summer to boost their math skills? Are there any like websites or preps that you would recommend for them? I tend to recommend Khan Academy to students quite a bit.
I say Khan Academy tends to be a student favorite. YouTube is also wonderful. So if you just search students search any topic on YouTube, there's usually a ton of videos that come up. And I do recommend that if students find a YouTube author that they like, to like write that name down or like them or flag them so that they can look at their other videos, because most math YouTube authors don't just have 1 or 2 videos, they probably have 100 on there. So if you like their style, then remember them. So I think best thing to review are some of the basics, maybe the fractions students have trouble with, or maybe just beginning equations. It really depends on which course they're going into. But usually some of the basic arithmetic skills are good to have, or maybe some beginning equation or graphing stuff if they're going into more advanced courses could be helpful.
Awesome. Great.
Stephanie's points spot on. Well said. I would just add a little bit to that. I actually don't like videos. Khan Academy is okay for me. And that's the thing I realize is we have different ways of processing information. And one of the things we also have is we have different ways of processing different types of information. So you might be great with a video, go to the videos. If you're finding the videos aren't, switch to something else. You don't have to. And I kind of like the Purple Math and some of the things that list it where I can read it and I can kind of scroll back and forth. I seem to have this problem when I watch a video, I just let it run like I'm watching a telly. And some of the math I do, I need to stop and go back and forth. And I don't quite do that with videos. It's just the way I do. But if I'm reading it in Purple Math, I know other people can't read math. So find the thing that works with you for that subject. If it doesn't work, switch. And so I would recommend Purple Math. I would also say, look at some of the things you're not doing. 3 Blue, 1 Brown and Number File do the really extreme levels of mathematics, but they don't do it in detail. They kind of tell you what all this stuff leads to, what some of the neat, weird mysteries of it. And it's good sometimes to look at that for just how crazy and fun this can be. So don't just focus on the mechanics. Every now and then go to a science YouTuber and see some crazy things popping out of science, or go to Numberphile and you know, watch the video on why some infinities are bigger than others. And you can sit there like the rest of us going like, wow, that's weird. You know, there's parts of it that you know, you can do to practice, and there's parts of it you can do to just fill yourself with wonder. Because if you have that wonder, when you're in the mechanics of it, it can at least help you.
Awesome. And I'll put links to most of those resources that we just mentioned down below this video as well. So if any of you students watching want to click on those and see if you can find something new that works great for you, click through and ask us questions. So I think that's all the questions I have for you two today. Thank you for coming onto this video. And for the students, as always, if you have questions about anything at all and you don't know who to ask them to us. You can email studentservices@mwcc.mass.edu, and we will answer any question you have about anything to the best of our ability as it relates to Mount Wachusett. So thank you for watching.